Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to do a quick video on these spinners. So these were loaned into the channel by my buddy Preston over at Big Mitts and Fidgets. Now, if you go watch his channel, you'll see that he went from getting into fidgets and really getting into sliders and stuff to getting into spinners. And then he kind of just didn't really post much anymore after that. And I think it's because he just went down the rabbit hole of spinners. And I'll tell you, from my experience at least, having now had, 5 or 6 of them in for review or whatever, I don't know. They're not something I really want to review. Like, they're not something I really think needs that. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like, you would basically just be giving the model and everything, and then what? It spins good, and then what? You're done? Like, I don't know. It just seems like a hard subject to ramble on about like I do. So I think a lot of people do spinner content as shorts, right? Which I think makes more sense. So this is probably not going to be a long video. I'm going to be 100% honest. I do not know the names of these. I think this one is the KAP, or Kinetic Asia Pacific Collision, in a blacked out W, or tungsten. The reason he sent me this is because he wanted me to try tungsten out. And I'll tell you, I did not get it at first, didn't like it at all. Now I absolutely love it. I get it. It's not something I want to carry because it weighs an absolute ton. But it is something I do want to play with, and I like both, honestly. I like aspects of this lightweight tri-spinner in titanium, so this weighs like nothing compared to this. But then I like the bar spinner in W as well. It's a very interesting kind of contrast, and I'm glad he sent me both of these at the same time. So yeah, this one's in titanium. I don't know the brand on this. I don't know if it's I'm not even gonna guess because I have no idea, but he did send me the bar version of it the first time he sent me something, and it's the same design except for you just have 2 of these and they're across from each other. So just imagine that, and that's the bar version. And I think that was in titanium as well. I'm not sure if it comes in other materials or not. One other thing I want to note, another reason I think you maybe don't see a ton of spinner videos like this, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe there's a ton of spinner YouTube guys I don't know about, right? Because I'm not really into them. It's hard to manipulate them in this position. Like, it's really hard to get the rips you want to get and such from this position. It's better for me to be standing, or if I'm sitting, to kind of be holding it a different way and not like right under a camera like this. So that's my excuse for the poor flipping or spinning you're gonna see here. But I am learning, right? So let's talk about this one. I like the tri-spinner. I think if you're gonna be a newbie like me with spinners, I think this is your go-to move. I think titanium is a good option too, just because it's so lightweight. It is something you can carry. So you have to balance that, right? Is this something you're going to carry around in your pocket and take out and fidget with? Or is this something that you're just going to have at your desk? Because if it's going to be something you carry, I think having lightweight materials like titanium makes a lot of sense. I also like the quietness of it, and it doesn't shake in your hand. Like when I do this, it barely changes feel. Usually with spinners you do this and it's like you can feel, the sound changes, things reverberate differently. But this guy just stays neutral the whole way through. You can easily rest it on your fingers, flip it around. I mean, I have zero coordination and I can do that stuff. I like the tri-spinner because it's set up really well for these flicks, which I like as a knife guy because I like to reverse flick my knives. You can really get under there and kind of hook one of the tries and give it a good spin like that. Or you can grab it by the corner and you can, ramp it down like that if you're not sucking ass at it. And you kind of just try to grab a corner or something. And what I think you're trying to do is put pressure laterally. So like you want to push pressure this way. So I'm like applying pressure that way, and that's kind of letting me load up a little bit of pressure, and then you can kind of drag that pressure down, if that makes sense. Instead of just taking it and going like this, like just literally dragging your finger from here down like that, you kind of apply lateral and then kind of flick it down. It's kind of hard to do again. There you go. You kind of catch it and then flick down like that as you move your wrist down. And if you apply pressure this way, you can get a little bit more force on it. And then you just got to get your finger out of the way. That's the move I always struggle with, is getting my middle finger out of the way, and I always hit it. But the flick, honestly, is easier for me. I just flick like that, with this one anyway. So this one's good, lightweight. It's got this copper button. I don't think it comes with it or anything, but I like to just, flick it like that, then catch it like this, and flick it down like that, catch it like that, flick it like that, and you just kind of go back and forth and do that. And then occasionally I just let it run, watch it, it's kind of cool, whatever, catch it, flick it. And, when you get a good one like that, it's very satisfying when you get a good one to watch it go, right? And then this one is in tungsten. So this is the opposite end of the spectrum. You have titanium, which other than aluminum would probably be the lightest thing you're going to see these made out of, unless you got a plastic one or something. So you're not going to get as much weight behind your flicks and such, but it might spin a little faster because it's a lightweight material, so you can get a little bit more power on it, right? I would say this is more, what's the word for it? When something forgiving. This is more forgiving. You can get a weaker flick and still have it give you a good amount of gas, right? You see that? This, if you miss, it's not going to be good. It's going to look horrible like that. You see, like I missed that one, so it just kind of like flutters around. Because this is so heavy and everything, you got to hit it right for it to go. And it's never gonna warp like this. Like this goes nuts, right? And it also has 3 wings, so that helps that, right? This is always gonna look a little slower, but in hand, when you get a good rip like that, it feels really amazing with this. I mean, you have a brick just chugging away around your fingers, right? It's pretty cool. And this one, at least, is not that heavy that it, like, is damaging my fingers. I thought it would hurt, like, to get hit with it or stop it. Like, you got to kind of come at it from the side. I don't think you want to just take a bruiser right to the knuckle like this. But if you just go like that, I rarely have an issue. And you see, I got a good rip on that one. You can hear it, like, chug. It's like... I know my air conditioner's on, so it's hard to tell, but that's one of the things I didn't notice right away was the sounds. I didn't notice how much I liked the sound of this one because my air conditioner was on the whole time when I was originally playing with it, and I was like, just sounds like every other spinner, right? But once I had that off, or I was downstairs or whatever, I noticed a huge difference. This thing kind of whirs. It has a whir to it. And I think part of that is the bearings. That's another factor with these spinners, is just like knives, people change the bearings out. So you can put quiet bearings or loud bearings in. You can put bearings that spin longer. You can put bearings that spin, quicker, but not as, long, whatever. It's just like knives, where you can kind of customize it to what you want. People who are into this, into the tungsten, the W, I think they tend to prefer the louder sounds. So they put different bearings in their spinners to give it a louder sound. And I think I would 100% be one of those people. I do like the quiet kind of feel to this. It's quiet and it's like almost motionless. So that's cool on one hand, but then having a train chugging away on your in your fingers is also appealing. So I don't know. I kind of like both, to be honest. But I gotta say, it took me, I don't know. This is Preston's second try sending me spinners, and it still took me like 3 days after getting it to really be like, yeah, okay, I like this. I pre-ordered 2 spinners on his recommendation. It's the M3, I forget the brand and I forget the model, but he had a pre-order for tungsten and zircutai and zirconium. So I got one in zircutai and I got one in tungsten to try. And I'm pretty excited for that. And I always try to get the ones that are like bead blasted in some way or finished in that manner, because they just seem for me to be easier to manipulate. Like this has a nice finish to it. It's not a polish, it's more of a blast in my opinion. So I can drag down really well on it. And I've noticed that I thought it'd be best to catch the item from like down here and drag down. And you know, sometimes that works. But honestly, catching it like up at the top here and then having it in this position when you flick, I've noticed is kind of the best. Now, I get the best rips when I'm just kind of messing around and it just falls properly. Like, if I try to like set up my finger like this and really rip it like that, that was a good one. Normally that doesn't go well. I normally have to spin it like this and then just kind of play with it. And I'll get a good one. Now again, it's hard on camera. But there you go. So you just kind of spin, and that's what you do with the bar spinner. You kind of, I mean, at least in my experience, I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination, so don't take me as one. But I kind of just flick it around. I kind of do the same thing I do with this one, except this one's a little easier to catch and flick because it's just more forgiving, essentially. Where this one, you know, if you miss, it can hurt sometimes. If you kind of flick at it and you're hitting pure tungsten in the wrong spot and it doesn't move, it doesn't feel great. But when you do catch this one properly, like that, when you get a good rip like that, it feels very satisfying compared to this. More satisfying. That was a good one. See that? Oh, yeah. See, that's just fun. I don't know. So I am definitely getting it. I still do that where I screw up and I got to readjust. And that's the one thing that's a downside. One of the downsides is the bar spinner's less forgiving. And man, is this thing heavy. Like, it does get a little bit tiring after a while. And, you know, because I'm holding this freaking brick. This thing weighs probably 5 pounds. I mean, I don't really know, but it weighs a lot, guys. So, I don't know. I just find it really fun. So, I totally get it now. And you may be seeing me get more into spinners as we move forward. But I don't know. I still love the clickety-clicketies. So, a video I meant to take a couple minutes just took 13. So, hey, what are you going to do? But big shout out to Preston. Thank you for sending these my way. Thank you for not giving up, brother. He was determined to get me to understand, and I appreciate that. So shout out to the Fidget Pass Around group, Kyle over at Fidget Focused, Preston over at Big Mitts and Fidgets, Sean over at Sean Dumas, and Melanie over at EDC Fidget. We are learning a lot from each other and passing on knowledge, passing on fidgets. It's been a blast. So anyway, let me know what you guys think of these spinners. Are you into them? Is there anything you have questions about? Hopefully the guys and Melanie will pay attention to the comments here. If you guys have questions, they can answer those for you. If there's any specific videos on spinners you want to see, let me know and I can let those guys know, and they could probably put something together for you. Again, not the expert over here. So, yeah, I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.